Let's get some more analysis now from Stephen Dreyfuss, a lawyer and former prosecutor who joins us now from New York. Thank you so much for joining us. The photo of the day seems to be that picture of documents and dossiers marked top secret and secret spread out all over a rather gaudy carpet. That's pretty significant, isn't it? And do you think that in that photo we've got a smoking gun?
Well, we may. It should be understood that that photo doesn't purport to show the way the documents were found. They were found in a box, and the DOJ spread them out on the ground to take the photo. But the fact remains that it's very clear from the photo that despite multiple representations by the Trump camp that they had produced everything to the FBI and returned all classified information and all documents, at least on 2 or 3 separate occasions, they made that assurance. When the FBI got there, as that document shows, there still were significant documents, including documents that were in Trump's office and were not in the so-called secured storage area where the FBI had been told the documents were being kept.
There seems to be a line of argument from the Trump camp that says something along the lines of the secret documents he took with him were subsequently or perhaps previously declassified by President Donald Trump as he was when they were declassified. Therefore, they're not secret anymore. Does that hold any water as far as you're concerned as an argument?
No, it's a complete red herring, as we say over here, because it's a fake issue. Because none of the statutes that he is being investigated for violating requires that the document be classified in order for the crime to be committed. All that's required is that these are documents that contain information that belongs to the government, and the documents belong to the government, and he has kept them. What is often the case in this country, and is clearly the case here, is that the target of the investigation, in this case, Mr. Trump, is his own worst enemy, because the charge of obstruction of justice, which is based on his conduct since he left the White House and with regard to dealing with DOJ and answering allegedly falsely their questions, is a much more serious crime than the more technical keeping government records charges that he would have been subject to otherwise. So he's now put himself in a much more serious position. And I would expect that the next step that the government will take in the investigation is begin talking to people who were present during the collection of these documents by Trump and seeking to show Trump's personal involvement in deciding not to produce certain documents to the government, notwithstanding the fact that he had promised to do so and afterward promised that he had done so.
Yeah, I mean, we're hearing murmurings of the Espionage Act. Now, that sounds pretty serious. I mean, were Donald Trump to be convicted under the Espionage Act, that would be pretty serious and almost certainly, would it not, put the brakes on a White House run in 2024?
Well, it might or it might not, because Mr. Trump's approach to politics has always been to portray himself as a victim and to run based on his grievances. But it's interesting to note that the obstruction of justice charge carries a possible 20-year maximum prison term. He won't get that, but that's the maximum, which is double what would be applicable to the espionage charge. So he's really put himself in a much more difficult position by refusing to cooperate with the investigation. And indeed, he has, throughout his term in office and afterward, taken the position that these things belong to him personally. He used to talk about my generals and my intelligence, and he thinks that these are his own documents. And he's simply wrong, and unfortunately, he now may be in a position where that will come back to haunt him.
OK, well, thank you so much for your analysis. Stephen Dreyfuss, lawyer and a former prosecutor in New York. Thank you very much indeed.
Thank you.